course I have passion for my 49ers.
I am not going to back down on this one. Sometimes I go extra hard just to prove my point.
No, you don't get to have it both ways. It's head-to-head. It's mono, it's 49ers face-off.
Accurate.
We got the one they call JHill down there in the blue.
Mom, the meatloaf.
Yeah, Jason wants it now. I probably eat some meatloaf with the ketchup.
You're doing too much. You need to do less down there.
And up here with Alex. So this is going to be a fun episode. We're going to get into all topics 49ers.
Accurate.
And these two are going to face off. I'm the ref Ant, and I'm going to try to call it right down the middle, not like those pesky Seahawks referees.
They were bad.
Accurate.
They were still
Accurate.
bad.
I'm glad to hear that we're going to have a non-biased officiating committee this week.
It's the only way I know how to be.
I love it.
Yeah.
Can we just not be so clear as to tell George Kittle that there's no way in hell that was a touchdown? Because that ref was pretty bad too. He was right on the line. I don't know how he didn't watch him. That was bad too.
In a shocking development, the NFL refs missed some.
That's stunned. I'm absolutely stunned.
True.
And shout out to S-L million.
Supposedly, coming into yesterday's game, Niners, the last couple of years, were 0-6 with that crew.
Didn't know that.
Did not know that either.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a hard-hitting stat. All right, it's time for the coin toss.
It is.
Coin
It is time
toss.
for the coin toss.
All right, so Jason, you are calling it, sir. What is the call?
Let's go heads.
Heads. It is tails.
I lost twice in a row.
It did lose.
You lost.
This one coin toss, yeah.
So
one coin toss.
The trial run.
Alex, you get to decide. Do you want to go first on the topic, or would you like JHill to kick
He
it
seems
off?
very flustered about the fact that he lost the coin toss, so I'm going to defer and let him go first on this first topic.
All right, so Jason, you get to kick off the first topic, and the first topic is, who is the hero for the 49ers in this game against the Bengals?
There's a few guys that could definitely be the hero. That's tough. I would probably lean towards George Kittle here as the hero, as much as you could give credit to Jimmy for those 2 game-winning drives he had. Like he gets a lot of crap, and some of it's for me, but he is ice in the clutch. Like he does a really good job when it's time to go. He goes, but Kittle, man, he's just on a different planet. Right, he's playing the best football that he's played of his career the last 4, 5, 6 games. First tight end in league history to have back-to-back 150-yard plus receiving games.
Accurate.
Touchdown in every game since he's been back.
Accurate.
I told Ant on their post-game wrap yesterday that he's not just playing like he's the best in the league right now. He's playing like a top 10 player in the whole sport. He is on a warpath, and he made some catches that were great. Gave him good throws too, but he's just Mr. Reliable. Late in the game or on a big third down, Jimmy's going to look to 85. We know that. The defense knows that. Jimmy knows that. He knows that. And yet he still makes a play almost damn near every time. And he did that consistently in overtime and late in the fourth. He came up with big catch after big catch after big catch. That one catch to set up Robbie Gould's field goal. That was a good throw to the spot where it had to be, and that catch was wide receiver-esque. The way he got his hands on that and pulled it in, man, he's special. He is a good to watch on this current issue or series of the Niners the last couple of years. He is my favorite player, and it's not close. I love 85. I love everything about him. He's funny as hell. He has such passion and just fire. Like, they are a different team when he's on the field. I absolutely love the guy. So maybe a little biased, but man, he makes watching the games fun, and he's just so damn good.
He is damn good. That is accurate there, Jason, 100%. And it's hard to argue with you on this because the last few weeks he's been the thing that's keeping this 49ers offense going and able to put up the points and do the things that it needs to do.
But you're going to try.
I am going to try.
Go ahead.
Because this wouldn't be a fun episode if I just agreed with you on this and just took it.
But it'd be...
Because look, here's the thing, right?
Wise of you,
a lot of those Kittle catches also come up at the behest and, the throw of Jimmy Garoppolo, and he made incredible throws when he needed to, as well as big catches from other guys on the team to put them in the positions where George Kittle thrived. There is one aspect of this game that shifted for the 49ers. Early in this football game, the defense played pretty gosh darn solid, and special teams was getting turnovers, and you had some good stuff, and you were able to limit and slow down the Bengals offense enough to get yourself a big lead. And then the defense started falling apart. So for me, the hero of this game...
Was it the defense falling apart, or was it just them finally adjusting to the too deep?
Well, it was a little bit of both. But here's the thing, right? Like, yes, they adjusted to the too deep, and they had some success doing that, but there were also times where guys had opportunities to make plays, whether it was Aziz with a big pick, Arden Key with the ability to hit Joe Burrow and make that thing fly into the air.
The ball was right back here. I don't know how he missed that.
So
crazy.
Here's my point. My point is that the defense definitely started falling apart late in this football game, and you could see Fred Warner's face on that coin toss when he lost it.
He was worried.
Yes.
He was worried. He was big worried.
Which is why the hero of this football game is the 49ers defense. It's Jimmy Ward and it's Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa with the big sack there. Once they got into scoring range for the Bengals, and Jimmy Ward coming up with the big pass breakup that forced the Bengals to take the 3 points and give your offense the time and the chance, the opportunity to go down and do what they almost did last week against the Seattle Seahawks. Go the length of the football field and get a score to win yourself the football game. The defense did enough. It stepped up in a big way. They're the hero that this 49ers team needed.
Are you going Dark Knight on me now?
Yes, they were the hero the 49ers team needed.
I like it.
In this football game, late in overtime, but George Kittle was the hero the 49ers deserve.
Fair enough.
There we go.
I do like that. I mean, it
covered all my bases.
Obviously, if you're going to drop a Dark Knight reference, I'm just going to kind of melt in automatically. So
there you go.
That's hard to... No, the defense is great. I love K1 getting that sack. That was such a big play, and I don't think a lot of people really will see the value of that. But that was a huge play at that time too. And
what a call by D'Amico Ryans.
Yes,
perfect blitz call in that moment.
He timed it just right, and boom, he got up and he's been close. Like they call that about once a game, and there's been a couple times this year where Kayvon just missed him, and this time he made sure he got his ass on the ground. It was great.
My word.
Hey, I'm this is the best 7-16 I've seen in a long time.
Before we get to the next topic, I would like to admonish you both for not mentioning River Craycraft.
Oh, for picking up and scooping it.
Listen, that is something that we should talk about, though. How nice is it to come on here and not be like, our special teams almost cost us the game, or like last week, they did cost us the game. So.
JHill, this is a poor attempt at a segue. Well, we are going to segue to special teams. We are going to
segue into special teams now. Everything Jason said, forget it. Alex, you're going to kick off this topic because is Robbie Gould or is he really Akers?
It's looking like Akers. I mean, I don't know if it's yips. I don't know if it's a lingering issue with the injury that's going on right now that's causing some of this. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's both. Mm-hmm. But he needs to get it figured out. Here's I don't even know if it's a positive thing. I guess the nice thing is that I think everyone in this room and a lot of 49ers fans, when that ball came off of Robbie Gould's feet, thought it was going through the uprights. It looked like it was going through the uprights. The trajectory was that going through the uprights.
Thing that we thought it was going through.
It looked like it was going. It tailed. I mean, it tailed at the very end of this, which tells me that it's correctable. Like what's going on is correctable. Because here's the thing: the last few weeks when he's missed, they were bad misses. I'm talking like coming off the foot, and it's chance not going in.
The Viking one, you're like, that one's not going in at all.
Yeah, this one had all the signs of a game-winning field goal. I mean, it looked like it's going through the middle of the uprights, and then just takes a right turn to Nopesville.
He sliced it.
I mean, it's just bad. So that tells me that was more of the way he hit it sort of thing, and that he's course correcting, because the last few he's just pushed right. This one was hooking and hooking right, and then just curtails at the end. So I think he's made some adjustments. I think he's getting closer to being the Robbie Gould that we all want him to be, and that you paid him the big money to be. And yes, the 100% that we need him to be. But right now, it's still a concern. There's still issues here, and I don't feel comfortable putting the game in Robbie Gould's hand and saying, "Hey, from 45 out, go get us this big win." 25, 30, 32 yards, sure. The minute we start getting 35 plus, it's getting a little iffy.
Scary, absolutely. My confidence level in Robbie from anything after about 4 minutes in the fourth is about 5% at this point.
Whoa, that's very specific.
I know. I always aim for accuracy.
Unlike Robbie.
And sliding,
yeah.
And sliding scales.
When they benefit my argument, absolutely.
You're an agenda man, I see.
Of course. Man, I was so mad. It irritates me because I don't like place kickers in general. So these guys have one job: stand there all day at practice and just kick the ball in between the two big yellow bars up there. And this dude, who's such a drama queen, wanting his extension and his raises, and I need to go back to Chicago and see my kids every once in a while, like all this crap. Then, dude, get out there and do your damn job. Make the kick. Like, I'm sorry, like, you made the Viking games get.
Jason, can you make a 21-yard field goal?
I'm not paid to be a kicker.
I'm just saying, it's really easy to sit there and criticize someone kicking a football. Can you do it?
That's your only job.
Can
You're
you
paid $4.5 million to do that.
Well, and I can't run a 4.3, but I'm not. I still am on here talking about people that do.
Not even
true.
He doesn't even do kickoffs. He doesn't even. His job is literally.
He does some.
He does kickoffs. That's not accurate.
Not all the time.
That is 100% not all the time.
Is that a hidden decision or is that a Richie Hightower decision?
That mean no. I'm saying he has hardly any responsibility. Work on.
Neither does Travis Benjamin.
And that dude, he should. That was one of the only throws. About 3 throws that Jimmy had that were bad, and that was one of them because that easily could have been a touchdown too.
Agreed. Now back on track with Gould.
Back to Robbie. You see my face is even getting red right now because I just don't like. I'd like football probably more than I already do if they just got rid of extra points and
Man.
field goals. Because
Seriously?
for this reason, this dude doesn't do jack all game. Meanwhile, we got Jimmy out there making great plays, Debo manning up, Kittle being a monster, Ayuk doing his thing, JWJ out there fighting for stuff yards. He trots on the field and just
Juwan Jennings.
No, Jeff
and Juwan too.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out who JWJ was.
Sorry. And
it's fine.
And
I liked it. It was a very unique.
He's got one.
abbreviation.
He let them all down. He didn't just let us down. He let down the whole team because that's literally his job.
Agreed.
These guys fight and scrap for 60 minutes against other gigantically enormous, mean, angry men, and this dude just walks out there and shanks the game-winning
Sits
kick.
on a bench all game.
Yes.
Drinks their water. Doesn't even do anything. Doesn't deserve the water.
Let the
Can't
actual
believe they let him
players
drink Gatorade. He doesn't need Gatorade. What do you need to replenish?
let the actual players decide games, not kickers. Because plus,
kickers are players.
if you take away kickers, Tom Brady has about half as many Super Bowls too. So, sorry,
I'm not here. I'm not there with you. I can't go there with you. That's nonsense. It's a very specific skill set that not every person can do.
Yeah, but
It's a refined skill.
they don't do anything else but kick. If there was no actual place kicking or
and
field goals,
O linemen don't do anything else other than block.
they're
What's your
actually
point?
in battle versus other players.
Listen, I
This
agree
guy
with
does
you.
nothing except if he misses that, if he doesn't score a touchdown, instead of being 7-6,
Kickers have one of the more like the harder jobs in all of football.
They shouldn't. They aren't.
No, but they aren't football
players.
But see, they do because every kick could be their job.
Right.
Like one miss could be the end of your career.
Exactly.
Could be the end of your career.
By Robbie.
What about punters, Jason?
Now that actually has some strategy involved in it, and
what the frick?
No,
are you serious? Punting a football. Kicking a ball through a specific set of uprights, not okay.
So then,
punting is harder than kicking a field goal. That's what you're going to go with.
It involves.
That's what you're going to go with.
Absolutely. No, not harder, but it's more vital. It should be more.
They're both vital. They're both just as vital. One scores a team points. One puts a team in good field position, or can create turnovers.
If there's no more field goals and no more extra points, or you have like a 1 point.
I know what this is. See, from the Mr. Official, line. This is leading. Like I know what this is.
What was it like the XFL was doing? Like with the different levels of extra points?
Yeah. This is leading right here. I know where this guy is going with this. Where he's going with this is you get rid of extra points, and what you do is you tell kickers to kick it through the uprights on kickoffs, and then they get a point. This is a rule change that he wants implemented.
No,
he's leading to try and get to this point here.
No, I don't want place kickers in the sport.
Then you wouldn't need a goalpost at all.
Exactly.
Right. But I mean, it's interesting. Would you get rid of kickoffs and in that situation as well? If you don't have a place kicker, would you just get rid of the kickoff as well?
No, because of the ability
that makes them literally more useless.
Of the ability to have an onside kick and that kind of stuff. So just the extra, because they shouldn't a game should not be won or lost by a 5'5", 95-pound guy who comes prancing out on the field.
Should it be won by a 5'5", 95-pound guy prancing out on the field?
It shouldn't be won or lost by them because that is too much impact for everybody else.
So if you need an onside kick to win, you just made an argument against your own point, which is you just said for purposes of onside kicks, if you need an onside kick to win,
onside kick absolutely, but not being able to kick a ball through upright when they don't impact.
Jesus. Since you're advocating for the different extra points, Jason. Would you not be also for the onside kick being on the offense then? Because you were talking about the quarterbacks and stuff. Remember the XFL had talked about that, or the AAF, where you would get the one play where you had to get like 12 or 15 yards. Would you do that instead? And then if you don't get it, the other team gets the ball right there from like the 30-yard line.
I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I could foresee something like that happening because of the players' safety angle, even though they've made kickoffs more safe, supposedly. I still think ultimately at some point the NFL will do away with kickoffs, though, like in that vein. So it's possible.
They basically have. I mean, when you have kick returns now, it's teams choosing for an opponent to return kicks.
Yeah,
because there are no kickers right now in the league that cannot put the ball in the end zone. The only reason they're not putting the ball in the end zone is a special teams coordinator wants a return.
I think that's accurate. I think this is an interesting topic. I wonder what people think. Is this an added part of the game that you would like to see gone, or would you like to continue having
actual players decide the game?
They did, right? I mean, a little bit, Jason, because I mean, in this game, think about the drama that is different. You did have the missed field goal, but then you have a field goal from Cincinnati that forces the 49ers to have to score a touchdown to win. Are you ready?
The real players decided that because Jimmy did a hell of a drive.
That's fine. All I'm asking is, are you ready to move on from that portion of the game, the kicking portion of the game?
Yes.
Okay. I'm curious because Bill Belichick will come up with something, because he always does. If you are right, he's going to come up with something here pretty soon to get rid of the kicker. I just wonder if he likes the nuance of the kicker being there.
He shouldn't, because that, like I said earlier, that gave them like 3 Super Bowls where, unlike Joe, Tom couldn't get all the down the field and score touchdowns.
But 49ers kickers did make kicks in those Super Bowls that gave Joe Montana opportunity to drive down the field and score.
Ray Wersching, yes, very much so.
John Taylor, not.
Yeah, but that was a field goal game. That game, there was lots of field goals in that game.
That was an ugly game.
It really was. It was very exciting,
defensive minded.
100%. So this is interesting. I wonder what everyone thinks.
It's almost like the players on defense, made plays and had an impact on the game and forced teams to score points by kicking field goals. It's almost like the players decided the game.
Well, the kickers did. Because they got to
or the defenses put the offenses into positions. But hey,
the ball and yay, look at the kicker.
I have a feeling you guys aren't going to agree on this, but I'm wondering what everyone thinks in the comments section. Let us know. Are you ready to get rid of kickers? You have no faith in Robbie Gould. Let us know what you would do. And if you don't have faith in Robbie Gould, what do the 49ers do at this point in the season?
It's one of the few things I will ever agree with Skip Bayless on is let's just abolish place kicking as a whole. I'm telling you guys, go on YouTube. Skip actually has a really good breakdown of this whole thing, and that's odds giving Skip any credit for anything because he's kind of weird, but
won't do it.
Won't do it. But
okay, so on to the next topic, and Jason, you're going to be kicking this one off as well. Even though you're talking while I'm still reading.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah, I know.
Welcome to Face Off.
I've known him for a while. And the question is, Jason, what holds the 49ers back from reaching their full potential?
Gosh, there's a lot of ways to go at this because they are maddening, right? Maddening, thank you.
It's people and people.
it's a beautiful thing. Inconsistent, right? That's why they're 7-6. They can come out and just destroy the Rams, and they can get destroyed by Colt McCoy. They can give away a game to the Seahawks. I hate saying that. And then they can grind out the win yesterday against a very tough Bengal team on the road late in Ohio in December, which is not exactly great weather to be in.
Accurate.
What's probably the root of that, aside from the injuries, because that is fair when you lose your number one running back, your number one corner. Greenlaw's been out a good chunk of the year, so, but I would put this like 5% on Kyle. Like, I really don't think it's a coaching problem because the players go out and make plays. And as far as Kyle and D'Amico, they've done a pretty good job of having those players in positions to make plays. They just haven't always made the plays. I would say the biggest issue is it feels like there's a lack of cohesion at times from the offensive line to the passing game and running game, because sometimes a good portion there's somebody that will either miss a block or doesn't always get the block at the right angle. There's a lack of not necessarily of cohesion, but there's an over reliance on the D line. Whereas if a team actually makes their blocks and the D line doesn't get home, then it exposes our secondary, which is always kind of scary. So I don't think there's one that you can really point to and say this is exactly what it is. To get to 7-6, you have to have lots of things go right and lots of things go wrong. And there's not been one issue that you can say, it's that. Because the way I look at it is, Kyle and D'Amico and John and the rest of the crew are smart enough where if there was just one thing that they're like, look at that. That's our problem right there. They would have had that fixed by the middle of October.
Disagree with you on this. I'm shocked that I disagree with you on this.
It's okay if you want to be wrong.
No, there is one thing. It's the man in the mirror. It's themselves. They don't. You said all of the things and then came up with the wrong answer. You laid literally the breadcrumb trail to the solution or to the problem, like to the root cause of everything. It's the San Francisco 49ers themselves. And you can pin it on injuries, you can pin it on Kyle, you can pin it on one particular player, but there's always one thing. It's these guys not executing, them making mistakes at the wrong times. It's a self-inflicted wound. That's what's been the issue for this team all season long. It's the difference between the 2019 season and this season. In 2019, the 49ers weren't shooting themselves in the foot. And what happened when they weren't shooting themselves in the foot? They weren't turning the ball over. When they had opportunities for turnovers, they were capitalizing on them and coming away with them. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot. And what did that lead to? Lots of big wins, right? Blowout wins, games where they were in complete control for a while, and they were washing through teams. It felt like at times that they could do no wrong. It felt like a season of destiny, right? What has not happened? What has not happened in 2021? They haven't capitalized on turnovers. They've made stupid, silly mistakes. They've had bad penalties at the wrong times. I mean, think about it. Big first down play. We get to 2nd and 3. George Kittle gets a false start because he's a little aggressive, a little assertive, and you move back to 2nd and 7, and then that kills a drive. Big holding ball call by Trent Williams when you're moving the ball to midfield, and you end up having to punt. I mean, this kind of thing has happened to the 49ers all season long. It's not they don't have dogs in the locker room. They don't have leaders. It's not Kyle doesn't call the right plays. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo can't do it. It's this whole team, top to bottom, hasn't been able to play as close to perfect as humanly possible. Guys have been human this year. They were less like this in 2019. So they didn't make as many of these types of silly little mistakes to set themselves back.
Is this the normal, or is this the outlier? And was 19 what it should be, or was 19 the outlier then?
It could be either or. It's still too early to know for sure. And the reason for that is because as bad as
week 13,
but as bad as this season started out, there were a good chunk of the fan base when we lost 4 straight that thought this was 2020 all over again. That's where we were headed with this direction of this football team. The difference was in 2020, there were a butt ton of mistakes, and a lot of it was because of the amount of injuries you had. You just didn't have the pieces. You had the pieces this year. You had the talent. We just weren't executing at a good enough level to win football games. So you come out of the bye week, and all of a sudden you start executing at a level to win football games. Are we still making mistakes? Yes. Are we making more mistakes than we did in 2019? 100%, absolutely. But we're doing enough right now and not making enough crucial mistakes late in football games when we don't need them, just not walk away with wins. And we're finding a way to claw and grind out victories more frequently than we did in 2019, a year that really, for a good chunk of the season, we weren't challenged that much.
Do we need to find smarter players then?
I would say no.
Because what you could say is, if you look,
most of our big penalties have been what? Pass interferences and defensive holdings.
Yeah.
That's where most of our penalty yards has been. It's one position.
With just one team in particular here. Let's take the New England Patriots.
Okay.
If we were to go down the 53,
okay,
is it not safe to say that the Niners probably have 35 of the best 53 players there with the Patriots?
Yes.
Maybe more even?
Could be.
Maybe 40?
It definitely could be more. Absolutely. Right? I would say the Niners have more talent top to bottom in a lot of positions.
What you don't see out of the Patriots is you never see them beat themselves.
False. They beat themselves very early in this football season when they were wildly inconsistent early on in the year, and then dialed in. And what happened? Your rookie quarterback has not made a lot of mistakes. He hasn't been asking him much, though. He hasn't asked him to do much of anything, especially the last week where he threw 3 passes. I mean, but this is what I mean, right? Like, teams do this; they ebb and flow and find their identity. But this is my point is that it's a very simple solution. There is one problem. It's the team as a whole not executing and not doing the things they need to do when they're supposed to do them. Something that didn't plague this team in 2019, that 2020 plagued this team in its entirety because you didn't have the pieces. But in 2021, you have those pieces. So you found that middle ground. So, I mean, I think Ant's question a little earlier, Mr. Official question a little earlier, was the question that is a good one. I think actually maybe you asked it. Is this the outlier, right? Is 2019 the outlier? Yeah, is 2019 the outlier, or is 2021 the outlier? Which is it? I think it's too early to tell. And the reason for that is because early on in the season, we didn't make any good plays in order to come out with wins. And now later in the season, we've been making good plays and not shooting ourselves in the foot as much. So we're starting to become a little bit closer to the version of the team we were in 2019 without necessarily having all those same pieces. So I think by the time we get to playoffs, we're going to have a really good idea of what year, what team are we more likely? Are we going to emulate more of that 2019 team, or Or are we closer to being what we saw all throughout the regular season? And if that's the case, you have some serious questions that you got to answer, right? Do you have the pieces in house to win a Super Bowl? Yes, this team can make a playoff. You've seen that, right? If you make it, but can these pieces get you over the hump and get you to that next step and that next level? It's not an easy answer, but the problem itself, in and of itself, is a very simple one. It's the guy in the mirror. It's the guy staring back at you, right? When you're looking at yourself and trying to figure out what's going wrong.
So then some people, not me, because I'm too
You're too what?
astute. But
Astute. Is that the word of the day?
No,
Okay.
not at all. There's a plethora of potential words of the day, but that wasn't it. So
Okay.
Some people will say, well, if it's the man in the mirror, that's why it was a very good song too. Some people will say, then Kyle needs to be tougher. He's too much of a player's coach. Letting them play rap music all throughout practice then. So what would you say to a clown that would say that then?
A clown that would say that? I'm
Yes.
assuming there's a specific person you have in
No,
mind.
just anybody that's like, he's too much of a player's coach. We need a tougher coach. Belichick's a jerk.
Belichick is a player's coach.
He actually is.
Phil Jackson was a player's coach.
Oh, absolutely was.
And Phil Jackson was a total a-hole. Usually, the coaches who are a-holes to their players are players' coaches. And the reason for that is that they're allowed to
He's
be
describing himself.
I mean,
That's also true.
I'm not.
It's 100% accurate too.
But
then again,
the guys who are
also-
a-holes are typically
also me too.
they're typically a-holes with their players because they have that kind of relationship where they can be that, especially if they're having success, right? If you're having success and your team's winning football games or it's been fairly competitive, you can do that, and there's reciprocation there, going back and forth. But there's also a balance, right? That you have to try and find that balance. Kyle, I wouldn't say is overtly an a-hole to his players.
No, he's not really.
I don't think
At
that's the
least-
case at all. He's actually the inverse.
I mean, he's a player's coach, so he needs to be tougher on himself.
But he's
I thought he was transparent.
he's extremely transparent. But you don't right. They're not. These aren't completely separate things. Being an a-hole doesn't mean you can't be a player's coach. Just like being softer or nicer or transparent, as you put it, means that you're too soft or that you're only a player's coach and can't get tough when you need to get tough. I recall him getting tough with BA in the media and holding his feet to the fire all season long and not letting him slide. And BA's paying dividends for the 49ers now. So Kyle picks and chooses his moments. It's worked out so far because this team started bad and they're finding their groove late. And it's all about how you finish. It's not necessarily how you start.
Yeah, I think that is very
I agree.
very well said.
So take that out there, you Kyle hating clowns.
Jesus.
Whoever that is. If you have
There's a lot of them.
maybe there's a Facebook group called Kyle Hating Clowns. I have no idea.
That is the case. My
Yeah.
goodness.
That
Just
Feels like hate speech.
KHC. So that way Jason knows what we're talking about.
Good old abbreviation.
But now it is time for the drive.
Oh, yes.
Time for the
And
drive.
Alex, since you won the coin toss, you get to decide who wants to go or who gets to go first on the topic. Do you want to go first, or would you like JHill?
You know what? I just want to knock this thing out of the park. So let me start. I'm going to start with it. I'm going to start with it so you don't have to worry about it, Jay. You don't even have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to start. I'm going to start with the drive. It's all good. What we got?
You forgot we already went through 3 topics?
Yeah, we did.
Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought
Nope, you're wrong. Go,
D'Amico's-
Mr. Official. What is the drive topic? Let's do this
The
thing.
drive topic is, who is the
What are we talking about,
49ers'
D'Amico?
second best player
Ooh.
on the team? The obvious choice being that Trent Williams is number 1.
Okay, so second best player with the obvious choice being that Trent Williams is number 1. For me, this is really simple. This team is built around 2 things. Offensively, your O-line helping you establish this run game, which is why they chose Tom Compton over Jalen Moore, because Tom Compton, better run blocking guy for the system right now, as we saw in the Deebo Samuel touchdown run second level. And defensively, your identity is built around your D-line, which means Nick Bosa is number 2. Because if Nick Bosa is not able to dominate the pass rush the way he has, then you are susceptible in the secondary with some of the questionable plays that you have, whether it's Josh Norman with the hands, whether it's Ambry Thomas punching Jamar Chase in the face twice on different things, and the hand placement just being really piss poor. Diamond Lenore getting toasted, whether that's the Eagles game or last week against the Seattle Seahawks. their D line is predicated. Like it's your built into your identity getting after that pass rush. So for me, it has to be Nick Bosa. He has to be second on that list because if he doesn't do what he does, Niners can't have success.
Nick Bosa's an outrageous take. Who would dare say Nick Bosa's the second best player of this team? That's insanity. This is why you can never trust that guy. He just comes out of his, you know what, with a crazy like Nick Bosa. Come on, people, you guys actually want to say this guy's right all the time? Nick Bosa, my ass, is the second best player on this team. Please, the actual second best player on the team is a guy who actually has the NFL record for tight end yards in a season. He is
Ross Dwelly.
Yes.
Okay.
Ross Dwelly is it's George Kittle. We know that our D line is really good, so they have guys who make plays. Our whole team goes in the tank whenever that guy gets hurt. It's George Kittle, folks. We all know it.
First off, well played. Very well played. The beginning was fantastic.
Well, taking the people's tight end too. I think that might have been the only way for you to counter my point.
Yeah, I mean the only way to go from this is to go to this. So that was very well done. Both of you guys make a very compelling argument on who is the second best player. That's assuming that we all agree that Trent Williams is the best player on the team.
Accurate.
I mean, it's hard to say he's not. He's even though he had a holding.
It's not hard to say. I mean, Jason, it's real easy. You just say Trent Williams is not the best player.
In case
see how easy that was.
No,
but do you mean it?
Since
whether I mean it or not is not the case.
Since you claim to have known me for so long, you should know that nothing is very easy for me to say. So
yeah,
all right.
Hey, you know what though? I'm glad you said it.
Oh, somebody had to. Or else.
Yeah, my first impression of you was pretty interesting. You walked in, you had a big case of beer, and you come walking in and you said something really stupid and did your laugh, and I thought, wow, who is this tool? That was first impression.
It's accurate.
Yeah. I mean, you grow on people, which is kind of scary, but you grow on people.
I'm like fine wine. I just better.
Nope. Then you just crossed the line.
You ruined it right there.
How about the Falcons? Who are we worried about in their offense? Maybe Cordell.
Cordero's the only one.
Maybe Gage. I mean,
not Gage.
Well, but with
Cordero Patterson.
I mean, obviously it's him.
They've found a formula. I mean, listen.
Are we worried about Cordero Patterson?
Well, it's just because
he's got 10 touchdowns.
They found a formula with him that's working that nowhere else. I mean, they
ever worked.
This has been tried other places and it hasn't worked. And it's working in Atlanta.
Yes.
I know I could have just interjected, but
yes, that's
trying
true.
To be nice.
Trying to be partial.
I believe that we wanted Cordero Patterson for this exact reason.
That's true.
We did shows about Cordero Patterson coming to the 49ers. I know because I struggle saying his name.
Jalen Hurd who?
And we,
Jalen Hurd who?
We wanted this guy to be his positionless player.
It would have taken the sting off of Jalen Hurd.
Definitely
absolutely would have.
Yeah. So I mean, this.
I would love to see.
We talked about this pre-show also. How about ESPN crediting the positionless player movement to Cordero Patterson and not Deebo Samuel?
Not Kyle.
The same place that called him a gadget player is now praising Cordero Patterson for his positionlessness.
Who's had one good year his entire
one good year.
Alex.
Yes.
Where's
it's
Atlanta?
ESPN.
Where's Atlanta?
East Coast.
Far
East Coast.
Where's San Francisco?
It's
far West Coast.
West. Bang bang Niner gang.
They don't even know the Niners exist until it gets to the playoffs.
True.
That's unfortunately accurate.
It is.
There you go.
But it's ESPN, so what do you expect?
I don't know. I haven't watched ESPN in a long time.
No, ESPN doesn't exist unless it's a man in the arena.
No.
That's pretty good.
I haven't watched that either.
That's pretty good.
Wonderful.
That's not bad
it's
at all.
It's actually wonderful.
It's really good.
That might
How
be
many
the only
episodes now so far.
I think there's four in.
I'll have to tear into those one day.
Tuesday's number 5.
I'll put that on the docket behind the challenge.
Good call too.
Who doesn't like themselves some CT just dominating?
Niners, 31-20.
Over the Falcons?
Yes.
You don't even know the status of George Kittle yet.
I know, but he said he's fine, so.
That's what he said after Arizona, and then he missed games.
He went on IR actually after that. So
this is kind of what he does.
So there's video of him on Instagram where he's walking off the field. He's walking fine. So if it's anything lower body, I'm not worried.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. I remember.
Now,
I remember after week 2, he was walking fine.
the
too.
elbow injury for Z's,
a little more concerning.
we'll see about that
We'll see.
one. But
We'll see.
Matt Ryan's a stationary target, though.
It's
And
accurate.
Both of you with the Aziz thing. Put a brace on it and get out there. Make some plays.
Listen, I don't.
Shoulder tackles.
Hey,
Come on.
he's not a pitcher, so I'm not. He shouldn't have.
Is he throwing a football?
He's not a pitcher or a quarterback. So
Yeah.
what's he need an elbow
He's also
for?
not a great catcher
Yeah,
of
I
the football.
mean, pretty soon. I mean, we'll just start bracing everything. He'll just be like a bionic
robotic
man.
man. Just
Yeah,
My
that was too bad. I'll be honest. When he stayed down, I got very worried. So
yes.
I'm hoping for good news. I'm hoping that maybe they bring Miyagi in, anything, fix him.
My goodness gracious.
What was?
Cutback crew.
But he was like this thing. He was like, "Huh."
No, he would do this and then he would rub it on there. He
Yeah.
didn't.
He didn't smash. No, it was.
Really?
It's a hover
Yeah.
technique, my guy. It's hover technique. Cutback crew. We hope you enjoyed this episode of 49ers Face Offs. Let us know who won down below right now. Was it myself?
George Kittle.
Was it Mr. Official down there, Ant, with his absolute down the middle calling of things?
I did it right down the middle today.
He was
Or
very.
was it JHill?
Very objective.
Making some very interesting points and some good counters
Did a
today.
good job, yes.
You're bringing your A game each and every week, man. I really appreciate it, and the Cutback crew appreciates it. Face Off's been killing it each and every week. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in. But that's not it. We're not done for the day. We still have a game recap show coming up after this. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and like this video and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss the full game recap of the 49ers' big overtime win against the Bengals.
Yeah, this could have been an absolute draw, by the way. There was 4 topics. So I could have leaned both ways.
It's true.
There you go. So not being able to have it both ways apparently does not exist here. You can't have it both ways. I did.
Cutback crew, we love you. We cannot thank you enough for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Face Off. And until the next one, stay safe.
Remember, the right way
Is always the 49ers way.